From the harsh, windswept steppes of Mongolia, a boy named Temujin was born into a world of brutal tribal conflict. His early life was anything but destined for greatness. At just 9 years old, his father, a minor chieftain, was poisoned by a rival tribe. The world turned against him in an instant. His own clan, fearing the burden of a leaderless family, abandoned Temujin, his mother, and his siblings, leaving them to fend for themselves in the unforgiving wilderness. They were outcasts, forced to survive on roots, rodents, and whatever they could find. This period of immense hardship could have broken anyone. Temujin was captured, enslaved, and forced to wear a wooden kang, a heavy collar that marked him as a prisoner. Yet even in these darkest moments, a fire was ignited within him. The humiliation didn't crush his spirit, it forged it into steel. He learned to be resourceful, patient, and to read the hearts of men. He escaped his captors, not with brute force, but with cleverness and the help of a sympathetic stranger who saw something special in the young boy's eyes. This early struggle was the crucible that shaped the future conqueror, teaching him lessons of survival, loyalty, and the brutal reality of power that no formal education ever could. Instead of seeking simple revenge, Temujin nurtured a vision far greater than anyone could imagine. He saw the endless cycle of violence and betrayal that plagued his people. He dreamt of a unified Mongol nation, a people bound not just by blood, but by a common law and a shared destiny. This was a revolutionary idea. He began to build alliances not just through strength, but through a radical concept for his time: meritocracy. He promoted commanders based on their skill and loyalty, not their aristocratic birthright. He welcomed defeated warriors into his ranks, offering them a place and purpose, turning former enemies into his most steadfast followers. One by one, through brilliant diplomacy and unparalleled military genius, he brought the scattered warring tribes of Mongolia under a single banner. In 1206, at a grand assembly known as a Kurultai, the chieftains of the newly united nation bestowed upon him the title of Genghis Khan, the universal ruler. He wasn't just a chief anymore. He was the leader of a new people, the Mongols. He established the Yasa, a secret code of law that governed everything from property rights to military discipline. It promoted trade, communication, and a sense of order across the vast plains, laying the foundation for an empire. With the Mongol tribes united, Genghis Khan turned his gaze outward. What followed was one of the most astonishing military expansions in human history. The Mongol army, under his command, was unlike anything the world had ever seen. They were not a lumbering horde, but a highly disciplined, mobile, and sophisticated fighting force. Their mastery of horsemanship was legendary. A Mongol warrior could ride for days, sleeping and eating in the saddle. They perfected the feigned retreat, luring their enemies into traps, and their composite bows could outrange almost any weapon of the era. But their success wasn't just about battlefield tactics. Genghis Khan was a master of psychological warfare. He understood the power of information, using an extensive network of spies and scouts to know his enemy's strengths and weaknesses before a single arrow was fired. He also established the Yam, a revolutionary postal relay system. This Pony Express of the steppes allowed messages and intelligence to travel up to 200 miles a day, enabling him to command his vast armies with incredible speed and efficiency. It was the internet of its day, a logistical marvel that connected his empire and gave him a decisive strategic advantage. The Mongol Empire, forged by Genghis Khan and expanded by his successors, became the largest contiguous land empire in history. At its peak, it stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the heart of Europe, covering over 22% of the Earth's total land area. It connected the East and the West like never before, creating what historians call the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol Peace. Along the reopened Silk Road, trade flourished. Gunpowder, the compass, and printing technology traveled from east to west, while Western medicine and art flowed eastward. This was a period of unprecedented cultural exchange, all made possible by the order and security imposed by the Mongol Khans. Of course, the story of the Mongol conquests is also a story of immense brutality. Cities that resisted were often destroyed, and the human cost of this expansion was staggering. It's a complex and often dark part of his legacy. Yet within the empire he built, Genghis Khan implemented policies that were surprisingly progressive for the 13th century. He granted religious freedom to all his subjects, whether they were Christian, Muslim, or Buddhist, understanding that a diverse empire could only be ruled through tolerance. He created a writing system for the Mongolian language and promoted literacy. He understood that an empire is built not just with swords, but with laws, trade, and ideas. So, what can we learn from the boy named Temujin, who became Genghis Khan? His life is a powerful testament to the power of resilience. He faced abandonment, starvation, and enslavement. Yet, he refused to be defined by his circumstances. He used every setback as a lesson, every failure as fuel. His story teaches us that our beginnings do not have to determine our endings. The greatest obstacles can become our greatest strengths if we have the courage to face them head-on. It's also a story about the power of a clear and unwavering vision. While others saw only chaos and division, Genghis Khan envisioned a united nation and a connected world. He held on to that vision with relentless determination, inspiring thousands to follow him and achieve the seemingly impossible. He reminds us that true leadership isn't just about commanding others, it's about giving them a shared purpose, a reason to believe in something bigger than themselves. His vision was so powerful that it outlived him, shaping the world for centuries to come. Finally, his legacy is a lesson in adaptability and innovation. He didn't just rely on traditional methods, he constantly sought better ways to organize his army, govern his people, and communicate across his empire. From promoting soldiers based on merit to establishing the yam system, he was a relentless innovator. He teaches us that to overcome great challenges, we must be willing to think differently, to challenge the status quo, and to embrace new ideas. The life of Genghis Khan is more than just a historical account of battles and conquests. It is an epic saga of human potential. It's a reminder that within each of us lies the capacity to overcome adversity, to pursue a grand vision, and to leave a lasting mark on the world. What is the empire you want to build in your own life? What are the tribes you need to unite perhaps your own conflicting goals or doubts? Channel that same resilience, that same unwavering ambition. Start with your own vision. Build your own loyal army of skills and supporters. And don't let the harshness of your own step stop you from achieving your destiny. If this story inspired you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more stories of a historic figure. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see next. Until then, stay resilient and keep building your vision. Thank you so much for watching.